Hi, I'm Jules, and this is deep in the heart of Texas fibers. The colorway is called Georgetown, and this is the beginning of my first ever yarn dyeing project. I decided to go with a colorway that reminded me of the town, something interesting about the town that I live in, and I decided to go with a copper and kind of tealy aqua colorway because Georgetown has this courthouse in the town center and it has a copper roof. And so this is my way of sharing with everyone things that I find fantastic and beautiful in Central Texas. Um, I decided to do a copper um, dip dye, and it's really interesting because I had never dip dyed before this. Actually, I had never filmed anything before this. I decided that um, I was going to make an attempt and do everything at once. So, start a new business, start a YouTube channel, and make an attempt to record all of my colorways as I make them. Um, I did not realize when I started doing this that the center of the two skeins of yarn wasn't going to get color. So about midway through, I looked between and I was like, holy cow, there's no color in there. So I had to flip it around, and I am amazed that I didn't burn myself this whole time. I I managed to find the tongs just in time not to hurt myself. Um, I'm having to do a voiceover because this was recorded during Sunday football. And if I had not done a voiceover, all you'd hear is my very sweet and just tolerant fiance yelling at the football or my four dogs barking. So you're going to have to bear with the fact that I also did not think about which way the phone was tilted while I was recording, and I managed to record it in the way that I really get annoyed when I see videos on like the news where, somebody took the video and they took it with the phone upright instead of horizontal, and I managed to do my whole video upright instead of horizontal. Um, I decided that once I had the yarn in the pan, I needed the next color not to immediately bleed into my copper. And so I thought, okay, I'll get a knife and I'll put a knife underneath the pan so that everything tilts backwards. But realizing that I could not get the knife to go ahead and have a stable situation, I decided, okay, take the knife out. Then there was a plate, a small plate, and I was like, okay, I'll put the plate under here. This will work perfect. It'll be fabulous. Um, yeah, no, did not work. Plate out. Tried a big plate because, a big plate is going to work better. The stove's burners are big, so the big plate. So I have the big plate, and I'm going to mess with this big plate and check the yarn and make sure that it's, beginning to heat up. And um, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is a little too tilted back. I don't know. I'm just really not happy with how that's setting. And so I decided I'd go ahead and think about it for a minute or two, and I finally started thinking, oh my gosh, maybe I just need to push it back. Nope, still not happy with it. So it occurred to me that I have this cutting board that was my mother's, and I love the cutting board. And so I decided, I think I'm going to try the cutting board. So I finally break down, take the big plate out, and go ahead and get the cutting board. And the cutting board was absolutely perfect. It was exactly what I needed. It did exactly what I needed it to do. Um, so now we've got our yarn getting warm, and I am getting ready to go ahead and put the color on. Um, and so I added the color in the back there, and I was just so pleased with how much that looked like the picture I had of, copper oxidizing. And I really did not realize how much color this was going to require if I was pouring it on, because it's superwash yarn, so it is picking up that color like crazy. And I really, really, really wanted this to be super saturated with the um, color. So I probably mixed up, I don't even know how many containers of color. Um, I, uh, I'm going to let you actually hear the stuff going on in my house here and there through this video, because some of it's funny. Um, I was listening and I was like, look, what do you think?
It's looking good.
And I thought it was great. And then, of course, because life's happening, he comes back and he's like, oh, look, she's not busy. She's not doing anything. Let's ask her a question.
Under the cabinet. You got a spoon over there?
You want a food color spoon or plain spoon?
Plain spoon.
So after this exchange, he heard me editing the video and he was like, you're not going to leave that in there, are you? And I was like, yep, I am, because this is real life and this is how it goes. I decided I needed to turn over the yarn here, and make sure that I got the other side. Uh, I was really, really surprised at how it looks so easy when I watch other people like Rebecca from ChemKnits. She makes it look so easy to flip that yarn over. No, not really. Um, I was really thinking that I was going to be flinging yarn around, but I did manage to keep most of the water in the tray. And so I get a little OCD, and this is where I, you know, watch my video as I'm editing it, and I'm like, wow, you really are OCD. Because, you know, I want it absolutely perfectly even. So I come in with dye probably 5 or 6 times, as you're going to see, and still, trying to get it even, trying to get it the way I want it. I can't just kind of halfway it. I really have to do it um, perfectly in my mind. So what I've edited out of this video is all the time waiting for me to mix more color, because each time I think I've mixed enough color and I have not. So I finally decided, okay, it's not too bad. I'm going to just have a few little spots, and I was trying to think of how I could get it into exactly where I saw the light spots. So I decided that I was going to get a spoon, and instead of using it to check to see whether the color had absorbed, I decided I was going to use it in order to go ahead and apply color. And that way I could get it in the specific places I wanted and it wasn't just flowing all over the place. So I decided to use the water that was already in the tray to go ahead and um, make up more dye because I was getting to the point where there was so much water in the tray, I was worried that it was going to actually overflow. Um, I, uh, I'm laughing watching this now because I really, really, really have a whole lot of OCD tendencies. And I think it's 30 plus years of doing nails. Everything has to be perfect. So I really, really needed to get in here and make all of the tealy, aqua green part of the skeins a very even tone. So I really enjoyed bringing the spoon in at this point to direct the color into exactly the spaces that I wanted it to be. Um, it was pretty warm at this point, so using my fingers here and there um, was a little uncomfortable. I mean, it wasn't excruciatingly hot or anything, but it was definitely smarter to use the spoon to shift the yarn around. Um, so as I come through and go ahead and darken up the spots that I feel are missing, I uh, I was having so much fun, honestly. It's probably the most fun I've had um, playing with color in years and years and years. So um, I really liked um, how this colorway was turning out at this point, but I have to get everything just right. Um, the spoon is so easy to direct the color into the places that I want it without having to use more color than absolutely necessary. Um, I'm huge on not wasting because for, all these years of doing nails, I realized that, I need to make sure that I am a profitable employee. And if you overuse product, you reduce that profitability. Um, Profitability, I think, is actually the right way to say it. Um, so in here, I really, really wanted to bring coherence into the yarn from one color to the next and not have it two stand out colors. So I decided to sprinkle on with my fingers some of the dye, and I really love the way those colors turned out. It surprised me because I was worried that I was going to make mud adding those colors, um, those drops to the coppery color. But I found that it actually showed up really well and it did not make mud. You could see the green in there, showing that it was a coherent colorway. Cohesive colorway, not coherent colorway. Maybe I'm not coherent yet this morning. Um, so I also was thinking at this point what I needed to do in order to go ahead and bring more cohesiveness into it. Um, And I was really nervous right here when I was flipping it back. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope this color doesn't bleed into that cream. But the colors had struck so beautifully that nothing bled. And that made me really, really happy. So the next part of bringing that cohesiveness into this colorway was to go ahead and use sprinkles. And I decided to use a brown sprinkle that was not the same color as the copper or anything else where the copper had, shades. So I got brown and I mixed the brown with some citric acid so that it would strike really fast and it would be a nice cohesive colorway with that brown in there. So here I am sprinkling it on. I really like the fact that for the most part it was not clumpy. It came out a very nice, tiny, granular color and way to apply it. It it would have made me crazy if I just turned into big clumps on there. You saw that one clump that I had to like kind of spread out. Um, and although you can't see it in the video, I did sprinkle it on the green and it does show up. It's a little more muddy than the green on the copper, but it's not just some random thing that you see on there. It just really brought everything together. Um, and again, I am completely blown away by how much fun it was. I really enjoyed it. Flipping these yarns, that is so not easy. I watch Rebecca from ChemKnits almost obsessively, honestly. And she makes it look so easy to flip these skeins. And I, uh, I was like, oh my gosh, I am going to have this stuff everywhere. There is going to be water and dye everywhere. Okay, you can do it. Just flip it. And so I went ahead and I flipped it the second time. And I was like, okay, that was a little bit easier. So, of course, as with anything, it gets easier with practice. Um, and I'm just finishing this up by the last of the brown sprinkles. Um, I'm so excited to be sharing this with y'all. Um, it is something that I never thought that I would actually do, like start a YouTube channel. And I've had several people who told me that I needed to start a YouTube channel doing nails. And I was like, no, I really don't want to because I don't do anything that exciting doing nails, as far as I don't do like crazy nail art and stuff. But this I could do crazy colorways and have that expression that I've never really shown doing nails. I can do that here with the yarn. It's pretty awesome. So here we are all dry. And I'm really, really impressed with it. I'm glad that I did it and I'm going to hang it up now. There we go. All finished. Thanks for joining me. See you later.